So she got herpes and I don't. She was like, I thought like at some point, like once we became official, like you would just be hitting it raw because there's only a small chance. And I'm like, well, I don't want to do that.
In essence, what she's saying is risk getting herpes to show me you love me.
I just feel like the fact that you are unwilling to get herpes shows you have like a lack of you have commitment issues.
First of all, I'm f***ing you and you got herpes. You better be on your best behavior.
You can have herpes, or you can be
have
mean.
an attitude.
Yeah,
or
but you can't do both, right?
I'm not an alpha male. I'm not a beta male either. I'm just a better man. Better man.
Recently, I got into an argument with my girl, and she reacted in a way that I didn't like, and she said she's sorry, and I do believe her in the moment, but I mean,
how did she act?
The apology. What's up?
How did she act? What did she say? What did she do?
Well, not what she acted. She was upset about this. Was like our first bigger argument that we had. We've been seeing each other for 6 months.
Okay.
And she reacted like we was out at a bar, and she allowed a guy to basically touch up on her.
Really?
In front of me.
Was she drunk?
Yeah, we were both drunk.
Yeah, that ain't good, bro.
That's not good.
That ain't good.
What? So you brought this up afterwards, and you said, "Hey, that's not cool," right? Or you did it in the moment?
I didn't do it in person, like on the spot.
Gotcha.
Because we were both drunk. We were out in public. And I knew we already had an argument before this. It wasn't like a yelling argument. It was just kind of like it was a disagreement.
What was that argument about?
Well, that is a big argument in our relationship. So she got herpes and I don't.
Mm-hmm.
She got what?
Herpes.
She got herpes and I don't. And I told her like, yo, I don't. This whole time we've been seeing each other, I was like, yeah, we could do it, but we got to do it when you're not breaking out, and we got to do it with a condom.
Right.
Okay. And her argument to that was what?
She's absolutely fine with that. Everything's been great.
Okay. So what was the argument about?
The argument ended up becoming about. She was talking about the future. She's like, yeah, like I want kids. I'm like, yeah, me too. And it's a conversation we talked about several times over. But her answer has always flip flopped. But she said she didn't want it. She wanted it.
She does want kids, or she don't want kids?
It always flip-flopped, but the last time we talked, she's like, she wants kids.
So you want kids?
Yeah, I definitely do.
Okay.
My thing was, I didn't want to, I don't know if I want to do that because I'll have to have unprotected sex with her.
Yeah, he doesn't want a raw dog and end up getting herpes.
And then, and so you think you'll marry her, be with her, and then still use condoms? That's what you're saying?
I was down for that.
Yeah, actually, he could do it.
When we have to try for a baby. No, we have to try for a baby. She had mentioned this before. Like, there's medication you could take that also could lessen the probability of that.
Yeah.
Getting it.
Yeah.
Or you could do
that would be the only window of me risking it. But other than that, we get there when we get there. I'm not doing that beforehand.
And there's other medical options.
And she's saying what?
Too.
What is she saying? What's her argument?
She flipped. She's like, I thought like at some point, like once we became official, like you would just be hitting it raw because there's only a small chance. And I'm like, well, I don't want to do that. And this is not to end things. I don't want to do that. And
right.
I never, and I never made her feel shit about herpes or anything like that.
Right. But you're like, I don't make you feel uncomfortable, but I don't want it either.
Correct. And then she's like, well, if we're going to be together, like the plan is to be together forever, then it wouldn't matter. And I'm like, well,
until you're not together forever.
Right.
And it seems silly to even say that because we've both been in long-term relationships that didn't work. So it's like,
here's where the emotion comes in, because this is not about her wanting to raw dog. What this is about her going is, you don't want to do this because you still plan on having sex with a woman after me, and that there's something after me.
Yeah, it's also that you think she's dirty in her mind.
Sure, that's true.
Oh, yeah. No, I get what you're saying. In her mind. I don't feel that way, but I get it in her mind.
Right, but you also can make a choice to not want to get herpes.
Yeah.
And not risk it. But in essence, what she's saying is risk getting herpes to show me you love me.
And I'm just not doing, I'm not going to do that.
No.
You know where this relationship goes, right?
Down the toilet and after that statement. But
yeah, so
now,
go ahead.
Yeah, so after that conversation, he was essentially like the next day, she was saying, like, we talked about it, and I was like, because initially, knowing that fight, the pill thing hasn't been brought up, or like the grand scheme of things. But
wait, you broke up. Say again?
It's like, yeah, what's up?
You broke up a little bit. What did you say? The day that conversation happened, what did you say after that?
So during the fight, we didn't get to the point of like, yeah, I'm willing to go raw when we have kids, but not anytime before.
Right. We just not going to be together, and I'm just.
So then the next day, we had the conversation like, yes, I am open to the raw, only at this moment.
Right.
And then at that point, I also had to bring up, yo, what the fuck you did last night was not cool at all.
Wow.
Same day? That conversation was same day?
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah,
Here's the thing. I want to judge you, but I am let's take care of all this shit right now type of bit, which is not necessarily the best way to do it. But if you put me in a corner sometimes, if the first thing doesn't go pleasant, I go, well, you know what? Let's handle all the business and take care of it now.
I hate to. Go ahead.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say we came to an agreement. Like, all right, yeah, go ahead.
She said we can't do what in it?
I said we came to an agreement.
Yeah.
That, yes, we would try. We would do the trying once the baby shower.
Yeah, this is not going to be okay, bro. This is not going to be okay. There's no way in the world. There's no scenario in my head as I run through all the
computing options
in the multiverse where this
Doctor Strange.
There's no way that this works.
The probability of you getting herpes is very high.
It's and it may not be. I don't even know medically what it is. My point is the probability of this working out when he has and you have absolutely. I respect the fact that you're taking this stand and you're not bending your stand simply because of the fact that she's uncomfortable with it. But
you know who's willing to get herpes? Bill Belichick. Absolutely. Would be raw dogging that 24-year-old.
Raw dogging that 24-year-old right now. He's doing it right now. It's 5 o'clock and it's the early bird special they call it. So but
I respect him for not.
I respect you for keeping your ground, but there's no situation where this gets comfortable for her. Honestly,
yeah, that's a big thing. I want to know a little bit about that other fight, though. So you're at a nightclub or hanging out at a bar or something, right? Everybody's a little tipsy, and then how does she rub up on somebody, or she let somebody rub up on him?
And then check him.
Yeah, so
how did she let somebody rub up on her? Explain the scenario for me.
She didn't meet him, so we actually went to that spot because it was so we got hooked up. We're in New York, so we get to a bar. We knew somebody that was hooking us up. It was a friend that she used to work with. And then he sent us somewhere else, like, yo, we are all to get to another spot. We got there. And it was like another worker that she knew from a long time ago.
Right.
He pulls up with his girl. And then whatever, they start talking, oh, hi, hello, regular shit. And there was some touching on each other, and I'm like, she don't even act like this. I know she doesn't act like this, because there's been other times where guys had approached her, and she's just like, I'm good, I'm not.
So she hugged a little too hard there, or she
was tipsy. So
No. It was him. She didn't press it, but everything he did, she allowed. So it was like he was rubbing on her back and shit, and talking a little too close. I mean, that music wasn't that loud, but talking man close.
I love that.
Yeah.
See, what I like about you is you have,
and she's allowing it. Like she knew what she was doing, and I didn't.
And when you confronted her, did she understand that she was doing it? Did she admit?
Yeah. What did she say when you said?
Exactly. So when I brought it up the next day, I was like, so you know, like this is what you did. Like I saw it, and I know I wasn't bugging because other people saw it too. Because it was not her close friends, but people she used to work with, so they know her relatively.
Okay.
And I was like, they looking too, like they felt a little awkward, like, yo, what the fuck is awkward? And I'm like, I didn't make a scene. I'm talking to her now, giving her that chance to talk about it sober. And her trash-ass response, in my opinion, was just like, well, I think subconsciously when I felt like you didn't want to be with me long-term anymore after the herpes.
Oh, so she threw it in the pot.
Yeah, she tried to, like, oh, I'm doing this now. So
dog, I ain't going to run. I don't know how I'm going to have, I don't know, run. Like, first of all, I'm fucking you and you got herpes. You better be on your best behavior. You better have your biscuits better not ever be dry. If you make cornbread, it better be moist because I'm getting rid of your ass. It just seems to me. How old are you?
And I'm 32 and 31 in 2 weeks.
You know, you young to put up with this shit, and you arguing with somebody, and you got to deal with that too. And then there's, man, get the fuck out of here. You're bugging. You're bugging. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just seems. I mean, you gonna ride it out because I know you already in it, but you know, she's not even considering the as much as you are bending already. You know what I mean?
That's what I brought up to her. She just felt like she thinks she's the only one that has putting stuff up in a relationship. I'm like, yo, there's both of us. Like,
yeah,
she's like concerned about shit not working out. I'm like, yeah, that bothers me too. But it's like, oh, but I'm not gonna have. She's like, well, if that thing doesn't work out, you could start another relationship. And it's like, oh, I can't have kids soon. But I'm like, so what? We're gonna forcefully have a kid now?
Yeah, you gotta run. That's gonna go left really quick and fast. So, and I just don't think you're too young to have to deal with this. I mean, let it run its course, but mark my words. I mean, I put it to you like this: when it breaks up, when it falls apart, give a call in. Make sure you call in. All right.
It's gonna fall about that. Are you saying it's gonna fall that bad, or are you?
Yeah, it's gonna go. It's got it. You can't. This is not sustainable.
Yeah, I guess so. It felt very normal and sustainable up until this point. That's what really.
Yeah, because you had to get to the point you hadn't really confronted it.
Yeah.
So I mean, things changed. I mean, as you go deeper, I mean,
It does.
You don't. There's things that you're not going to consider. You're considering now that you didn't consider before, and and as it moves forward, and people want to link their life with you, they're asking you for more sacrifice and more empathy and all of those things. So, you know what I mean? It just seems to me like a lot, and the fact that she's not even being, malleable about this, considering.
Right. She did apologize.
Yeah, but it's like, how dare you? Let me ask you this. If you had told her that you had herpes, you think she'd have fucked you? And she didn't?
Oh, that's a good point. No, she wouldn't.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like...
If she had no herpes and there's no ways you could have told her, I feel like we really had a connection.
Let's get close.
And you know what I'm saying? And then, and she would go, oh, sure, fine. Let's just make sure you wear a condom. You think she would have said that? Hell no.
She didn't voluntarily get that either. She got that shit. Somebody, played it when she was young. But
that's fine. That happens.
That's not the dude. If I end up in a fire, and I look like a burn victim, nigga, whether you gonna say I'm gonna be with this melted motherfucker because
wait,
what? That's what I'm saying. I was agreeing with you guys. I don't know if
yeah, like I'm saying, if I'm in a fire. I'm gonna go to some girl that you gotta date me because I didn't start the fire, and she's like, okay, Freddy Krueger.
Is that what that Billy Joel song is about? We didn't start the fire.
That's what it is.
It's about herpes. Oh, that makes a lot more sense now.
And now I'm burnt, and you like, oh, but I'm such a good guy. Yo, when is a woman gonna go? You know what? I'm signing up for this.
Also, how would she act if you were rubbing up against if you let some other chick rub against you too?
And she goes, well.
Yeah, she always embellished because, I go out, I talk to people because even when I'm with her, I got a late birthday.
Yeah, so now she's blaming it on you. You do it too, right?
No, she didn't blame it on me, but I called her out on it because there's been times I talk to girls and she'd be like, yo, you was flirting. I say, how was I flirting? I was just talking.
Yeah.
And then she would embellish the story. I'm like, that shit didn't happen.
Yeah, this is going to be
You're not committed to this relationship. You're
gonna
talking to other women. You don't want to get herpes.
If you really love me, you go out and get herpes and come back.
Wow. Yeah, it's going to be a tough one.
You know what? Weirdly enough, you don't have to go out. I got herpes right here in the house.
And you guys been together 6 months?
6 months.
Yeah, this is a lot of problems.
6 months did.
Yeah, no, this is
a lot of problems.
I know soulmates who break up with less problems than this.
Wow. Is there any other? I mean,
I guess it really came crashing down like this. It just happened. Like it happened 2 days.
So you had to.
So Dante, what is your full advice here?
I told him run,
snip and run here.
Run. This is going to be nothing but a problem. It's only going to get worse.
I mean, that's a lot. There's a lot of drama going on. The herpes thing is for someone to insist that you get herpes. Insist.
Yeah.
Not like you must get herpes.
You must. If you love me.
She said the risk is so. She was like, yeah, my exes didn't get herpes. They just fucked. And I was like, all right.
Well, we don't know that, first of all. Because someone who gets herpes is not going to tell you
they're not going to be like, yo, guess what? So
you're not going to see that under their Twitter bio.
You know what I mean? And the thing is, look, whatever they did, they did. You set your boundaries, and I really respect the fact that one of the things, I don't know if you heard me say that is relationships are easy. Just know what your non-negotiables are, and then never negotiate them. You know?
I like that this guy with the herpes is reasonable, but the guy with the dog who has anal leakage,
he don't give a fuck.
He couldn't be spoken to.
Thank you, D. I appreciate you.
All
right.
Good luck, bud. It's going to be tough, but you'll find somebody, and they probably won't have herpes.
Cut and run. Or get somebody with herpes that's humble.
That's nice, you know?
Get a humble herpes chick. You
can have herpes, or you can be
have
mean.
An attitude.
Yeah, but you can't do both, right? You can't be a douchebag who has herpes. You can't be unpleasant and have herpes.
And I think it's so cool that he's like, yo, I totally get it. It's not your fault, whatever.
That's a lot right there to be, but she doesn't. There's always more. Yeah. They want everything and whatever's left over. It's not enough that you are okay with her having herpes. Now you got to have herpes too.
You want to have it too.
Because if not, it means that you don't love me.
Let me tell you something. When it comes to this house, everybody has herpes.
We're all getting herpes. You get herpes. You get herpes. Josh gets herpes. Brandon gets herpes. Domino gets herpes. Everyone's getting herpes.
Herpes in the car. Herpes on the couch. Herpes in the kitchen. Anyway,
unbelievable.
It's crazy.
God, man, just when you think you've heard it all. Fuck? We've been doing this show for, I don't know, more than 15 years at this 15 years at this point?
Been about 15 years.
You just think, that's why I love asking people what the arguments are about, because it's just, you can get to the core, it's selfishness, but with the notion of going like, I just feel like the fact that you are unwilling to get herpes shows you have like a lack of, you have commitment issues, because she probably threw it at him like, I just feel like you have commitment issues.
What do you bring to the table?
Yeah.
I bring herpes. How about that?
Oh, here we go. Bringing up the herpes again. Wow.
Anyway, the dog needs herpes.
Yeah.
In fact, we're gonna get a pet koala. Oh no, they have chlamydia, right?
Chlamydia. Yeah. There's some of them that have herpes. They're just known to have chlamydia. Koalas is dirty.
They was at the Diddy party. They was.
Had a lot of. Some of them won't testify because they're but they'll do under a mask or whatever. But yeah,
they put on rabbit ears and go in.
Koala. This koala was like,
I see a shadow with rabbit ears.
One of the koalas was like, I was invited. I didn't do anything.
I left before the freak off.
I know a kangaroo, and he was all in that. He was all with Cassie. That kangaroo is dirty.
If you love what we're doing here, go to patreon.com. It's the best way to support us, and check out all the bonus content.
That's right, patreon.com/manschool202. We do weekly bonus episodes. We do listener mail, dating tips, and also, if you love the show, you can go back to the archives starting from episode 1. All the episodes will be there at patreon.com/manschool202.
So I'm dealing with this chick, right? And I know you always say, lay the 5 bricks and stuff like that, never compromise your manhood and stuff like that.
Right.
So what I started to run into is this situation where it was a lot of anger and resentment from her. And then as soon as I scream on her about some shit, then she's like trying to fuck me again and stuff like that.
Okay, wait. So there was anger. You were with her. Y'all were together.
So we were correct. So basically we were, it's kind of like a situationship, whatever you call it.
Okay.
So everything was cool, and then she started getting more and more upset.
About what?
Just random shit that would happen. And
like,
she would just,
like what?
I'm sorry, not
like
just,
what?
Like shit she suffered trauma and stuff like that.
But no, what is she saying the problem is?
Well, she just is upset, not even with me, just with things that worked out in her life. Like, she's upset that she didn't have a child earlier. She had a miscarriage, all this other stuff. Like, she's older and all this other stuff.
Yeah, but she's pointing this at you. You're saying you and her had arguments.
Well, we had arguments because she's bringing that energy to me because I'm just the closest person around. So
right, but what is she going at you about?
So typically it's usually just about how she's just upset about the choices that she's made. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, but that's not pointed at you per se.
Correct. Now, how I factor into the situation is typically I listen, I go through all the trials and tribulations as I'm listening to her. But what happens is that she is one of those one-sided things where she only wants to talk about her issues and doesn't really want to hear mine.
So she's selfish.
So typically.
Yeah, but I'm saying, are you and her arguing, or is she just using you as this kind of doormat to unload on all the time, and then
Both.
y'all are not arguing? Because you did say y'all are arguing.
Yeah, both.
But
what
is she arguing with you about?
Basically, she's arguing with me about specifically, like, maybe some of the things that she feels like I'm not doing.
Like what? Like what?
Like intimacy stuff. Like when she's talking about, like, because she made this comment about, like, how she, I never initiate, but I'm like, you're very particular about how you like to, have sex and stuff like that. So, I usually have to wait because literally it's like, I don't want to say like a drill sergeant, that's messed up, but literally it's like you got to be ready to pivot with her because it's like, okay, do this position, that position. So I told her, I was like, that's why. So basically, long story short,
it sounds like you don't enjoy the sex.
Yeah, she's controlling. Is she controlling in the sex, like the direction of it?
Very, very much so. Very much
that's
so.
no fun.
And basically, what it really comes down to is that she feels like, okay, if I control how these things are going and stuff like that, then I'll get the optimum out of the situation. And then
you get to say that again.
So what she feels is if she controls these aspects of sex, that what will end up happening is that she'll have more control and she'll be able to get the quote unquote
better orgasm
type relationship. No, I mean
she's using it as leverage.
Correct.
Okay.
But the crazy part about it is she'll move the goalposts when we argue, right? And she'll be like, well, you're not doing this. And of course, as a man, I know you say you're not.
Wait, when she says you're not doing this, what do you mean? Give me a specific.
So what she'll say something to the effect of like, well, you don't, like I said before, she's like, you don't initiate sex. And I'm like, well, yes, I do. And I point out these different things. And then she'll say,
if you initiate sex, would she reject you?
It depends on how I come at her. If I come at her in a way that she don't like, then she'll just be like, no.
So,
you know what I'm saying? So, for instance, let's say if I
how long you been with her?
It's been about 2 or 3 months. And the sad thing about the situation is,
you want to hear what I got to say about this,
boy.
or you?
Judge Dante's ready to rule.
I'm ready to rule. I've heard enough. I have heard enough.
Yeah.
First of all, you know what sucks? Dante? It's the same thing. It's like she bad. And
yeah, so what?
Like, how you by yourself?
So
exactly.
what?
I'm like, how you by yourself? And I'm like, oh.
That is
right. Oh, now.
Kareem, you already know what the thing is. I can tell in your voice, you know what it is. You just wanna confirm.
And you're putting up with this because she's bad. That's why.
Correct.
But she's never. But I'm gonna tell you, she ain't gonna be so bad that's gonna keep your attention. If this is early, here's my question. What is your question?
Oh yeah.
Well, my question to you is like, I think the thing. Why is it that every time, like, because we'll have this argument, I'll scream on her, and then I get 50 million texts. Is like, yo, I want to suck your dick. I want
because
to.
She's toxic. Because she's abusive. So let me explain to you about abusive people, right?
Right.
Whenever you have an abusive relationship, what do you have? You have a person who is abused, right? And you have the person who does the abusing, right?
Right.
Usually, people are like those type of relationships because they've had those relationships in their household, like they grew up around that, right? Now, the reason why they approach life with the purpose of finding dynamics like that is because it feels like home to her, right?
Yeah.
She's comfortable with the this abuser-abusee kind of relationship, right?
Right.
The difference is this. Whenever you have somebody who's abusive like that, throughout their life, they will find people who are more abusive than them or more selfish, and some people who are less, right? If you're less, then you'll be the abuser and she'll be the abusee. If she meets somebody who's a bigger dirtbag than her, he will abuse her and she will take the submissive position.
Right.
They don't
They don't
which
care.
role they play.
They
as
don't
long as
care
they
which
play.
archetype they play as long as both archetypes are present. You
Because
understand?
as long as it's chaotic, because that's what they're used to.
Yeah,
Because
it's
the
crazy.
environment is dependent upon somebody abusing and somebody being abused, and it doesn't matter they're comfortable in the environment in that fish tank. You know what I mean? So as long as you have both of those, it doesn't matter who plays what, as long as both archetypes are fulfilled. And the problem is, when you scream on her, right, you become more abusive. Even if it's just reactional, even if she deserves it, you're becoming more dominant, and so she takes a submissive position. Now, you can either stay with her and treat her like trash all the time, which it doesn't sound to me like that's who you are anyway.
Which takes a lot of energy.
Nah, that's too much energy for me.
There
I
you go.
can't. I'm about to be 46 tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's too much. You got time
I
for
need
that.
low energy. I can't. Like, I was even thinking about it. I was looking at the text. There was so many text messages. Let me fuck that.
Oh, you a Taurus?
I'm
You a Taurus?
It depends on which one you go with.
Yeah.
Some say Taurus, some say Gemini.
Yeah, I think May 20th it ends, but whatever.
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah,
but my birthday was the 13th. Yeah, she's always gonna look to recreate those environments, and if she does, yeah, I mean, then you have to. So
no, the thing I was going to say, the thing that struck me was he keeps talking about moving the goalpost. It's not moving the goalpost. It's creating conflict. So no matter what you do right, she's going to find something wrong or critique it, because this way she is creating the chaos.
Yeah.
So there's nothing you can.
had a conversation.
Yeah.
She literally had a conversation yesterday where she inserted literally all the conversation was stuff that she said, and I said nothing. I was like, what the I never said that. She's like, well, I'm like, yo, okay.
Yeah, you gotta. I mean, here's the problem. Your situation, you need to get out of it in terms of it being exclusivity and just like, I'm out. I want to date other people.
God, no.
I want to date. It's still a situation, right? It's situationship.
Nah, I can't. Like yesterday was just kind of like the final straw, because I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, all right, Dante always says, when you sacrifice your goddamn manhood for...
Oh, you don't get it back. You don't get no points for it, and you don't get it back.
Can you?
Know what I'm saying? And it doesn't matter how many times I pivot, try to adjust my, personality to just be cool and stuff like that. And then yesterday, I was just sitting there looking like she just was saying, God knows what.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking like...
You're not even paying attention at that point. You're just, how do I get out of this?
Like, yo, I couldn't believe it, too. And I was just like, all right, I can't. And it just sucks, because it's like, if she was like a completely different person, it'd be great.
Right, yeah.
Right,
But
if she was a bad bitch with a different personality, a different mentality, and a different history, she would be dope. But she's not. And you gotta cut her. I mean, now the problem is that when you cut loose, she's gonna come back harder. And even if you're gonna smash, you gotta maintain your integrity and say, look, I don't really dig you like that, but if you want to smash, we can smash. And then you have to get right out immediately after.
It's like that kind of. I feel like that's some rest in pen, Patrice O'Neal types. Like, yo, no, you gotta get the fuck about. Like,
yeah, I get it. I mean, cool. But I'm saying,
you don't have to say it like that. Here's what you can say: look, I don't see us having a long-term relationship.
No,
if you want to come over,
yeah, right.
If you want to come over, have sex and then leave, I'd be down to do that. But anything else, I'm not interested in. So you don't have to be mean. You don't have to vote. Yeah, because listen, you stupid whore.
Let me ask you something.
Emoji.
Wouldn't you like to have her come over and smash and leave?
Nah.
Oh no, you wouldn't even want to do that.
Only reason why is because it's not gonna. I just like she's basically talked me to death so much where it's just like
she's not even pretty.
I'm at that point where I can't like.
You're not even attracted to her now.
Yeah, that's the thing, and it's like it sucks because like I remember looking at her. Like, this makes no sense. How are you this damn fine and your personality sucks?
You know what that's like?
How is that even possible?
You know what that's like in New York City when you see an empty subway car? You go, oh man, there's a seat over there. And then you go sit down and there's a homeless guy shit all over the thing. You go, oh, now I know why no one sat here. Okay, it makes all the sense in the world now.
You got to get out of that because it's
I
gonna.
Yeah, I had. I just like I said, my question really was like, why is it that it seems like, and that's not really my type of personality. Like, you know, obviously, I'm sure people have made so many references to energy like Harry and all this other stuff. And I've definitely learned a combination of both of you in terms of you and him in terms of how to maneuver with these women. And of course, you know, this whole thing saved my life and stuff like that in terms of, and I'm sure you've heard that several times before.
Well, sure, man. You'd
like
be stuck in a relationship with this lunatic because she's hot.
I mean, and you see it faster and faster. And I'm just like, okay, like, and basically when I get fed up is when this is going to have to end because it's like, I can't even get, it's just so much energy and it sucks because I was just a black woman and all that. I'm black. So it's.
Yeah, but you know, the other thing is this though, the real, like, I mean, I had to learn this as I got older is to take the signs and get rid of it because time is the commodity. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And you're wasting time. And I'm going to tell you something. Everybody has a thing where, you know, they'll look at Harry as different than me. So it's funny because Harry Harry was working at a job and the dude was trying to play him and he checked him right out the gate.
Right out the gate.
And Harry was like, oh, this is what it's like to, because Harry will always give that leeway, right?
I'll give some leeway, yeah.
But I don't, you got to understand there's a reason why I don't give any wiggle room in it.
No.
Because
your instincts are usually right.
The math is still the math. You feel me?
Yeah, and it doesn't buy you anything.
No. So in fact, it does not only it doesn't buy you, but it costs you.
It costs you. You lose your respect.
You lose time. You lose energy. You waste it on somebody who doesn't deserve it. You also cut down your opportunity to meet somebody who is worthy. It's just not okay. Like I say, when I was in my 40s. I was like, I'm no longer gonna have people in my life that take away from my life. If they're not neutral or positive to my life, I'm not gonna have them in my life, right? And then when I hit my 50s, I was like, I don't even want the neutral motherfuckers because the neutral people eat your time.
Yeah.
And your time is really the important thing. So if you're fucking with somebody that doesn't help you grow in some way, get rid of them. Even if they're why? Like, why would you hang out? You know, with somebody who is not going to move the needle for you.
It's crazy. It's crazy because, like, I just remember, like, all those, and it was funny because I didn't even get the opportunity to, like, you know, make up some excuse, like, you know, maybe some of the rest of us have done through the years that we've been listening to you and now calling in. I couldn't even come up with no excuse. I couldn't be like, well, maybe she, you know.
Like,
no.
So
you know.
You know what it is. And the thing is.
And I want to be anywhere. I want to fucking vaporize like fucking a fort in the wind. You want to transport out of here. This shit is crazy. And I was just like, yo, it just goes back to practicing integrity. Not only with yourself, like
and honestly, the other thing is you got to be honest with yourself because it's funny because anytime, you know, Harry would get a situation, he would always give quarter and
every day is
and I kept telling him it does not help you to give that wiggle room.
Let's cut right to it. Let's go right to it.
Go right to it.
And it was funny. And, you know, it's funny. I was going to say right off the part. I got divorced a couple of years back, and it got finalized and all that type of stuff. And people, you know, they've asked me little things here and there, you know, how things went, all this other stuff. I remember telling a friend of mine, I go, he was like, well, damn, Cream, you did this, you did that. I said, yeah, bought her a house, paid off her car, took care of her, took her, you know, I always laugh about the Patrice joke about how, like, oh, you know, who's that bitch, you know, shit on this in the corner over there. I'm taking care of your whole daughter. Like, that's how, literally, that's how the situation.
The shoes, the boots, some ex.
I did all those things. I said, I did all those things, bought this. She was homeless, took her in my home, bought her all that stuff.
You can't be homeless.
Said, you know, at the end of the day, she still left my ass.
You can't be homeless, have herpes,
right, and be unpleasant.
It did nothing. She didn't hesitate to walk up. Now, granted, she tried to come back, but that's not the point.
Yeah.
She still felt empowered to do that because I had lost all my respect.
Yeah, and I'll tell you the interesting thing about even that, it's like it doesn't help you. That energy could have been put on you, or it could have been on somebody who would have appreciated it. And waiting. And I'd say this to Harry all the time, stop. And he would be like, well, I just want to make sure I go, you're not, none of that is true because it all comes from the fear of it's fear. that you don't want to check a motherfucker. You could say it's, oh, I just want to make sure. I just want to. Well, when you don't have the fear about how it's going to turn out, it changes your whole perspective. And you first of all, fear is emotion, right? So if I say never allow emotion to have a seat at the table, you are, by the nature of your fear, you are allowing it to have a seat at the table. So you gotta check it right away. This is 2 months too late. I know this chick was a problem the first week, but but here's the thing: if you really sometimes you give people space to change, right? But the only way you give them space to change is by checking them in right away. If you got a puppy, you don't wait 5 weeks to start paper training them or housebreaking them. You start housebreaking them right away.
Right. And it's the same thing you say, just about like once it happens, like once I tell somebody, hey, I'm not going to tolerate, once I told her I'm not going to tolerate, I already tolerated. It's already been tolerated. And now I'm stepping back, and she just, and each time it was the situation
she takes more
worse than the last.
Yeah, she takes a little bit more.
It's just like, I can't fuck with you like that.
Yeah,
like, I was just like, I thought it was like, you know, that's why my question was more or less like, yo, son,
why does it happen?
Is this about to be another thing I got in the repertoire, like just screaming on chicks? I don't.
Well, you shouldn't also be screaming. I don't.
Yeah, you shouldn't. You lose them. The problem is though,
because then it becomes that you're yelling.
The first time she's disrespectful, you go, hey, don't talk to me like that. Oh, I was just joking. Why are you being so emo? Look, listen. Did you hear what I said?
Facts.
Did you hear what I said? Do not talk to me like that. Don't call me names. Don't call me out my name. I respect you, and you respect me. And if we're not going to do that, we can stop this. We can stop the date right now. I put the brakes on then. What that does is establish to somebody that you're not willing to put that. You're not even willing to do that. So right away, if the person can't fit into those boundaries, they're going to bounce.
Yeah.
It's a great time for them to fly off the handle and do the fuck shit they normally do so that they could be out. Or it gives them a real good time to go, oh, wow, this guy is not to be played with. And because he's not to be played with, I'm not fucking around with him.
And that becomes more attractive because they respect you. But, you know, you got to make sure it doesn't eat up your time.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny.
Yo, thanks. Hey, Lloyd Hinton, thank you so much for the cash up $15. Thank you, brother. Send me some money, goddammit.
Yeah, I was not the interview, but the whole intro stuff to the Beige Phillip when he was like, "Do you just get to love them?"
Yeah.
No, it's always work.
But yeah, thank you.
It's always work.
Yeah,
man, I appreciate you calling in, bro. But yeah, you 40 something now. It's time for you to.
I'm not an alpha male. I'm not a beta male either. I'm just a better man. Well, put your happiness first, because if you don't, they won't.